Hello everyone and welcome back. Thank you for watching today. I am creating a layout today using the December Hip Kits Club kit from the main kit from December, and I am creating a layout of my grandson using some cut files. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right in and get started. I started off with a 12 by 12 watercolor paper, and what I'm going to be doing is a watercolor effect because I got some brand new watercolors. You can see a brand new palette there on the right, and I was inspired to play and get those out. So I started with the watercolor paper, and you're going to see me here applying gesso to that paper. And later, I don't know why I did that because I didn't need to do that. I think I'm just so used to using regular cardstock, and I usually apply gesso if I'm going to be doing a mixed media on that. And I think I just forgot that this was watercolor once I got started. And so that's a step that you don't have to do. And I probably might have worked better if I hadn't done that. But at any rate, I just went ahead and went with it. So I'm going to go ahead and just start applying some watercolor to the background. And I really don't have a plan. When I started, I didn't have a plan of what I was going to do. I just got the colors and started applying them. Typically when I'm doing mixed media, I don't really have a set plan of what I'm going to do. I like to just get in and start working with it and start playing. I most of the time will start, with a product. I want to do watercolors or, paints or something like that, but I don't really have a plan on the design necessarily or what I want to do. So I just jump in and get going and get started with it. So that's what I did here. And you'll see me here, I'm trying to dry. The gesso hadn't completely dried on the background. And so I was trying to get that dry because it was mixing, the white gesso was mixing with my watercolor. So I was drying that real quick. And so I'm just going to be layering some colors here. I think I did blue, green, yellow, and I think I added an orange. And I'm just going to be applying different layers of color to the background. And then I thought, well, I'm going to let those colors kind of run because I did have a lot of water in the brush. So I just kind of started letting those run and kind of got that dripping effect. And sometimes I kind of feel like I'm a kid with color crayons when I start to work with watercolors. I don't have a lot of experience working with watercolors. I don't know all of the best techniques with them, to be honest with you. I actually just started using watercolors recently, probably just not very long ago. And, there's some people that are just amazing with it. I watch Vilna Furstenberg, and oh my goodness, the girl's amazing. And, Edith, who has a YouTube channel here, they're amazing with watercolors. And I don't claim to know all there is to know about watercolors. I just get in and play. I sometimes feel like a kid with color crayons, just coloring on a page. It's kind of like my grandson, who's just about a year and a half. He's just starting to color, when you go out to dinner and they give you the color crayons for the kids, and he just doesn't know what he's doing. He just grabs the crayons and just starts all over the page. That's kind of how I feel right now with watercolors. But they're fun. I like them, and it really it's all for me about the creativity. I've mentioned before, I do Project Life. For me, that is where I do most of my documentation and my storytelling and journaling and the day-to-day life and things going on. For me, the 12 by 12, my layouts are more about my creative outlet. So they allow me to just get in, play with products, and enjoy it and not have to really think about what I'm doing. And that's the part that I really like. So that's what I did. I just jumped in and started playing with the watercolors and just applying them to get different looks, and sometimes, most of the time it works out. I use what I've worked with because that's my masterpiece, so to speak. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. I will admit I've had some things that I think, turned out muddy or just didn't turn out too hot, but that's not very often. Most of the time I just go with what I've got completed, and it always works out in the end. So that's I just have fun with it. So if you haven't tried it yet, get out those things and have fun. It's just paper. In the end, if it doesn't work out, I can throw it away. So I try not to box myself in and be too concerned when I'm doing mixed media, because like I said, for me, it's just all about the fun and experimenting with the products. So that's what I did. So I've got my colors there on my base with my watercolor, and what I wanted to do is next I'm going to start layering some more texture. I wanted more texture on the layout. So I decided to add some texture paste. I'm going to add some extra layers just to give it more interest. I think, yeah, there I'm getting my stencil. That stencil is from My Favorite Things. It's a polka dot stencil. And I'm just going to be applying the texture paste on the stencil there. And what I'm just using regular, actually I think it's modeling paste. It's pretty much the same thing. And I'm going to be adding some color to that because I did want to do the white. I wanted to add a little bit of color and mix it in the texture paste. So what I'm getting right now is my Mr. Huey's Mist. And so when you're using texture paste or modeling paste, you can add color to it. You can use mist like I'm doing now. You can use paint. You can use gelatos, anything like that to add a little bit of color. And so I'm using the Mr. Huey's Mist, and I'm going to just spray it and mix it in. And I'm not mixing it completely. I'm going to leave a little bit so it kind of has that variegated look to it. So it's not completely mixed in. And it's just going to add a little bit of extra interest there on the layout. And I'm just going to add another layer. And I'm not being really neat. I'm just applying it over the stencil. I'm going to apply it in a few places there. Actually, 3 different places. I just like the extra added dimension that gives to the layout. Anytime you add another, you know, whether it's mixed media, stamping, anything like that, it just adds another layer of texture and it adds more interest to the layout. So I like to build layer upon layer to do that, which is why I use my heat gun in between because I don't like to wait. I'm impatient. So I try to dry it so I can keep going while I have the time to scrapbook, while I'm in, you know, have it on my desk and I'm able to devote the time to do it. So I'm going to just dry that up and finish layering. The cut file that I'm using is from the Cut Shop, which is Ashley Horton's shop on Etsy, and she has some amazing cut files in her shop. I have been trying to use my Silhouette more. It's such an amazing tool that I haven't used it as much as I should have. So I've been trying to use it a lot more. So what I do is just go through and download or find files, and I'll just do a print and cut or a cutting session all at once and cut several things so they're ready to use when I need them. And so that cut file right there is from her shop. So she has some great things. I'll put a link in the bottom box to her shop so you can check that out. And then I'm using that roller ball. I think it's an old roller ball from Glitz. And I'm just adding another layer of texture using ink. And so that's just, I just rolled a couple of strips of ink on there using, I think it was a gray. It was the gray from Studio Calico ink. And then what I wanted to do was, again, add another layer of texture. So I'm using that mask. Excuse me, not the mask. It's actually a stencil from Studio Calico, and it's like kind of wonky triangles. And I'm adding that on using just the white texture paste now, and just making another layer. And just adding that on there. And while I'm doing that, I hope you guys can tell I actually have a new microphone that I'm using right now. I was having problems with my other one. I've been trying to get videos narrated and had such a problem because for some reason the microphone was sounding horrible, and no matter what setting I put it on, it just wasn't working. It was kind of a cheap one. It was very inexpensive that I got when I first started out. I mean, like, not even like a couple years ago. So I invested in a better one. So I'm hoping you can tell a difference. I'd love to hear feedback if you can tell a difference and if it sounds good or any suggestions. So hopefully this will make it easier. I was having so many problems with the other one. I just could not get a good quality sound out of it, and it had a lot of background, white noise. It just didn't sound good at all. So hopefully this will be better and I can get some of those videos narrated now and get them uploaded. And so anyway, here's back to the layout on that cut file. I'd cut it in white, and it just wasn't popping on the layout for me. When I do color, a lot of times I do like to use black because it just pops. This cut file was just kind of blending in the background. It wasn't popping on the layout. So I decided to spray it black with my Mr. Huey's Mist. And it really made such a difference. Even though it didn't turn out black, it's almost like a charcoal. I still love the effect of it. And I felt like it really just kind of gave it the pop that it needed on that layout. So I was much happier with it. Typically I do cut all my files in white, and then I can mist them and spray them any other colors that I need to get it to work for my layout. In this case it worked out great because I sprayed it black, and that's what I'm going to end up going with. And I have the picture of my grandson there, and I decided I wanted to scrapbook that picture of him. And it was one day I was having fun. He was dressed up and he looked so cute, and so I kind of just took him out, and I like to take pictures of him, but I don't like to have him pose. I like very natural pictures. So I took him out on the patio there on outside where we were at, and just kind of started playing with him. And I like to just snap pictures while he's playing because I get some good shots that way. And it was so funny. I was playing with him and he started laughing, and he would like bend over, lean over, and put his face in his hands laughing so hard. And I snapped a picture of it. I thought it was just adorable. So I had to use it on a layout. And here I was trying to decide, because I kept the original color and then I did one in black and white, and I was trying to decide which one I wanted to go with on the layout. And I was checking back and forth to see which one I thought was going to work best, and in the end I ended up going up with the color. I just thought it looked better on the background. And so now I'm going through my kit and going through some of the papers, because I want to layer some papers behind the photo. And I'm using that gray triangle paper there, which is from the Amy Tan Stitched collection, and it's called Loom. And that is one side. On the other side is, well, you can see right there, a quick shot of it, the black with kind of like the zigzag pattern. It's really cute. And so that's the first one I went with. And then I'm going with that green polka dot. And that one is from Pebbles, and it's called, it's from the Happy Day collection, and it's called Sunday Paper. So on one side is the green polka dot. On the other side, it looks like newsprint, which I'm also going to use, but not for a little bit before I pull that out. But I'm going to use both sides of that paper in part of my layering. And so here again, I decided I wanted a little bit more texture to the page. So I'm going through some of my stamps, some of my smaller stamps that I have, and just finding some things that I can, just layer on and just add some more texture. I ended up using those there on the right. They're from Studio Calico. They're by Ashley Goldberg. And I just added some, they're little triangles. They actually kind of looks like little hearts when you look at it on screen, but they're little triangles. And then I use that little strip there of the dots. And I'm just going to add some more ink, some stamping there on the layout using my black VersaFine ink. And it just adds a little bit more texture to the layout. I have some more layouts to upload. I'm trying to get them edited, like I said, narrated, so I can get them uploaded, because I'm wanting to wrap up my December kit for Hip Kit, because I still have January sitting, which I loved everything in the kit, so I ordered one of everything. So I have a lot of product from January, and they're getting ready to ship February soon. So I feel like I'm still trying to catch up. I'm still behind on my kits and using them. So I should be uploading some more videos here shortly. So there you see I just added some random stamping to the layout, and now I'm going to go ahead and start adhering everything down. Actually, what I'm going to do first is I wanted to back it on another piece of paper. So I'm cutting down the edges of the paper to make it smaller, and I like to back mine before I start laying down the photos and embellishments, because once you do that, it starts getting bumpy, and I find it's harder to get it to adhere smooth and really apply it like I need to, because it's got all the stuff on it already. So here I am, I'm looking for a background paper, and this is an old paper I had in my stash, and it's from Crate Paper. It was not in the kit, but I thought that black and white on the other side worked great with the layout. So that's what I'm going to go with, and I'm going to go ahead and start adhering that down. And I just add adhesive to the back. And then what I do is I start with one end, kind of make sure it's all centered, and I'll start with one end of the layout and kind of almost roll it on to kind of flatten it as I lay it down. You can see here how I'm kind of holding one end up and flattening it, making it flat as I go. And that is much better. Kind of helps kind of even out some of the warping of the paper as well. And then I take my brayer and just go over the top of it just to make sure that all that adhesive is adhered to the background. So then I'm going to go ahead and adhere my cut file. Actually, first what I'm going to do is layer my pictures on my pattern paper. And I'm going to put some dimensional adhesive in between those layers, just to give a little bit more depth. I've been in a mixed media mood lately. Several of the layouts that I've done recently have been mixed media, painting and misting, and I tend to kind of take it in spurts. I'll do several layouts in mixed media, and then I'll go back to just using product or using a different technique. So it kind of depends on how the mood hits me, and sometimes I get in a mood and that's what I do. So you may see several in a row that have the mixed media effect, and then I've been doing that a lot more though. I mean, I'm really enjoying playing with the products, and some of the things we get with the hip kit too are so fun, you know, because they have the color kit, which is different from any add-on company that I've seen before. Usually when you get kits, it's just more, it's like a whole nother main kit. So you get pattern paper and embellishments. The way hip kit works is they have their main kit, and then she has an pattern paper add-on where you can get just the pattern papers, and then she also has an embellishment kit, which is always awesome, and it's just additional embellishments that coordinate with the main kit. And then she has a color kit, which is my favorite. Every month it's my favorite because that's where you get some of your mixed media items. You get this month they had a couple of spray mists in there and stencils and things like that. So you get, you know, you may get, I think one month was stencils with a texture paste from Ranger. So it's really a fun kit to get and really try new stuff, and I'm loving that. So I really like that part of the kit because you get to add choices, and it's not just more product, it can be other items as well, like the color kit. So I really enjoy that. I'm enjoying the hip kit lately. And so here I am, I'm just layered those pattern papers behind the photo. And now what I'm going to do is start adhering everything to the page. And I just put a dab of hot glue right in the center of the cut file there on the background, and then lay the cut file on top of it. And it's the place that my photo is going to cover, so I can adhere it without actually seeing any adhesive or any glue. And now I'm going through some of the embellishments that came in the kit, and I'm just seeing what I can find to add to the rest of the layout. Didn't feel like it really needed a whole lot because the background itself is so busy and so colorful. So I found a few pieces of the kit that I'm going to be adding. And I'm going to do some rub-ons there, just add another layer. And the rub-ons are from the Amy Tangerine Stitched collection, and it's her rub-ons. I'm going to do a couple of rub-ons there on the side. And then you're going to see me go through some of the ephemera pack. It's again from Amy Tangerine, the Stitched collection, and her ephemera pack. I'm going to be pulling some of those pieces out and putting around the photo there, and just tucking some in for some more layering. And her rub-ons were very easy to use. Sometimes I have problems with rub-ons. Sometimes they work great. Other times they don't. But these worked great. They went on very smooth, very easy, and didn't have any problems with them. So, and of course, with the background like it is, if they didn't all come off, it really would have made a difference because it's kind of messy anyway. And then I'm going to add couple of those photo corners. Those were in her ephemera pack. And that cute camera there in the bottom left corner, that was part of the ephemera pack as well. And so I'm just going to be adding some of those around the edge of the photo. And the wood veneer that I'm pulling from was in the kit, and that's from Embellishments, and really cute wood veneers that came in that pack, and love that one. I'm going to be putting one on that says, I think it says Photo Love, and it's super cute. So I'm just tucking those in there, and I'm going to be wrapping up here, coming to a close. And again, I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and welcome to all my new followers and subscribers. I really appreciate you subbing, and I really appreciate your comments. I do read everyone, and thank you so much for taking the time out to leave comments and for watching the video. And I'm just going to wrap up here with a few stamps of the date to wrap up my layout. And then I'm going to be showing you some close-up shots here. So again, thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.